Yeah. Ah, yeah. Well, the sun's sitting low on the desert plain. Ships line up like a big old chain. We shut down the Strait of Hormuz tight. Got the world spinning. Holding on with all our might. You thought you had the upper hand, but America's got the master plan. And I see you pouring whiskey slow, drowning troubles that you'll never outgrow. Oh, you're caught up by the balls, can't you see? In a game of high stakes and diplomacy. Pour another round, but it won't change the score. Locked tight at the strait. What you fighting for? Oh yeah. You cheers to the ghosts of yesterday's deals, but every shot just reminds you what's real. The barrels stack, the tension grows, while the whole wide world waits to see how this goes. Your grip's loosening, hands shaking fast, but we're holding steady, making it last. Through smoky bars and blurry tunes, you're lost inside your bottle of blues. Oh, you're caught up by the balls, can't you see? In a game of high stakes and diplomacy. Pour another round, but it won't change the score. Locked tight at the strait. What you fighting for? A toast to the power plays and the midnight calls, to the fools that think they'll never fall. But the truth's as clear as a country dawn. In this showdown, only one will carry on. Oh, you're caught up by the balls, can't you see? In a game of high stakes and diplomacy. Pour another round, but it won't change the score. Locked tight at the strait. What you fighting for? So raise your glass to the closing night, under Texas stars and pale moonlight. The strait's locked down and the whiskey's still strong, but this country's ready to carry on.
All right, you guys, I'm going to start this one. I actually have a pretty funny story. I went to my local farm hardware store. I mean, they sell everything. They sell wood, plumbing, electrical, you name it, they got it. Bales of straw, whatnot. And I went there, and I walked in, like I knew what I was doing. I took my truck with me because I needed to pick up a bale of straw. I walked in, and the first thing out of my mouth, there's a young kid at the counter. He's a really good kid. He's been there for a long time. And I walked in, and I was like, hey, buddy. And he looked at me and said, yeah, what do you need? And I said, you got any stray balls? Him and the guy behind the counter with him, who was the guy that does all of the small engine, like chainsaw repair and stuff like that, they both looked at me like, what? And I was like, oh shit, I worded that wrong. You guys have any straw bales? I need to buy a bale of straw. And they were like, okay, that's better. I was like, well, that's funny. I don't care. It blew me away. When I just went in there and said that, I was just like, okay, that didn't come out right. But it was funny. I was good with it. I don't care. And then it just went like it's supposed to, you know. Yeah, give us $9, we'll sell you a bale of straw. And I was like, all right, got to have it for my chickens. Well, then I got my bale of straw and I came home and I couldn't stop laughing about it. I had to share that story with my brother, who shared it with his kids, who all laughed about it and stuff. So I don't know. You know, an embarrassing moment can become fun, I guess. But now my next topic is going to be what happens with Walmart. This is something that has been bothering me. I've got two boxes behind me. The first box, 100, it's going to be backwards on you, I'm sorry. 100 lens wipes. Okay. Made for cameras, binoculars, and glasses. I go back and I go to buy another box. And this is the box they came up with. You get 60 sunglass wipes. All right. Same price. I don't know if you can see it up there. It's like $4.88. I get them home, and I'm like, well, that's not what I thought I would get. I really didn't want sunglass wipes. I wanted lens cleaning wipes. And I brought it home, and I opened them up. This is a package of lens wipes. This is a package of their sunglass wipe. All right. This is my last one for lens wipes, by the way, but I'm going to open it anyway, just so I can show you a difference, if there is one. Oh my God. That does not open the way it's supposed to. There it goes. Okay. I got the top opened up, as you can see. I'm going to do the same thing with sunglass wipes. This is sunglass. I'm going to open it up. Yeah, that opened like I expected it to. And just to show if there's any difference, I'm going to bring out my regular glasses. Right now I'm wearing my reading glasses. These things collect dust. I don't wear them a lot. Okay. So we'll start with the lens wipe. I'm going to open it up, show you what it looks like. If I can. I'm going to open up, show you what it looks like. There we go. This is the lens wipe. They say use them when they're moist. Okay, great. I use them when they're moist. I wipe the lenses of my glasses with both lenses, the same one. Yeah, they look pretty clean. As they should, right? I mean, that's what you expect. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use the sunglass. This is the sunglass wipes. I'm going to open it up. They look exactly the same. I'm going to wipe the same sunglasses, my regulars, with this wipe. They feel the same. They smell the same. There's nothing really different. And there's really nothing different about them. Other than what I paid for 100 is what I'm now paying for 60. Now I'm going to change my glasses because these ones aren't exactly clean. And come over to these. I can't believe they're charging the same price for 40% less than what I was buying before. I mean, seriously? The same price. And I get 40% less wipes for the same price. It's a smaller box. They both say exactly the same thing on all of it, except for the port or the point where it says these are 60 and these are 100. That's the only thing they changed, the size of the box and the number that's on them. And they both work. So that's my bitch. I will say this. I have 7 chickens in my chicken coop. I have 9 more that are in my brooder right now, so I will have 16 chickens when I'm done. And to get this carried on, I'm going to bring Greg on because I haven't talked to this man in a long time, and we're bringing him on now. I want to see what Greg's been up to.
What's going on, Dave?
Not much, Greg. How you doing?
You know, the best I can do, I guess.
Are you doing your sales?
Yes and no. I've been doing other stuff, trying to stay busy.
I've been thinking about driving down and just say, hey, Greg home? Can he come out and play?
I probably wouldn't be here. I mean, I've been up helping my sister up in Lyle.
Oh, well, if you go to Lyle, that's even closer to me. That's halfway point. That's like a 15-minute drive for me. I go there and get my water.
Yeah, she lives right down the road on Church Road off of 79.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been trying to help her a little bit, doing what I can. You know, I can't do much, but.
What else you got going on?
No, I'm just waiting to hear back from the stupid Social Security Administration.
What else your sister got going on she's working on?
She did remodels her kitchen and did an addition. Put another bedroom on her trailer.
You want help?
No, we're actually almost done.
I was going to say, I do sheetrock, I do plumbing, I do electrical.
Yeah.
I've done siding. I'm not great at it, but I've done siding, you know?
Yeah, I got to finish a fence here in the yard at the house. So, but I can't stay on my feet too long, you know, because my legs and my back. So I try to do as much as I can. I take a lot of breaks.
Yeah, I do too. And they're not all water breaks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can take a lot of water breaks, but there's a certain point where I don't want to be floating. And if I drink too much water, I feel like I'm going to be floating away.
Yeah. I don't drink water. I drink soda.
Yeah, I don't drink soda. I can't say that. I got hooked on this new Dr. Pepper. It's called Blackberry.
Oh, yeah. My mother-in-law drinks it.
Yeah, the first one I bought was the Blackberry Zero, and I really enjoyed that one. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I went and bought another one, and the one that I got is not Zero. It's just regular Dr. Pepper Blackberry. Yep. But I'll tell you what, the flavor is the same. It tastes the same, and I really got hooked on it, you know. I don't drink a lot of them. My thing is mostly I'm going to drink coffee in the morning and beer in the afternoon, you know. I mean,
yeah,
because I don't have a whole lot going on.
Yeah. No, I just been chilling.
Well, that's cool. Have you heard from Troy?
No, he texted something about, or maybe he didn't text us tonight. I don't know. See, my phone is going whack.
Yeah, my phone's on the charger. I can't look at it either.
Yeah,
if he pops in, he pops in.
Yeah, be nice to hear from him.
It would.
Actually, they're getting. I'm watching Ryan Hall right now. They're getting storms down there. The storms that were supposed to hit us.
Yeah, I've been watching it. I've been watching that too, and I'll be honest with you. Arkansas, 5 days in a row of nothing but rain.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's a lot. I'm sorry, but I'm not big on rain. We've had it all day today, on and off. Right now, it's nice out. It's sunny and it's beautiful. But they're saying it's going to come back again and bite us in about another half an hour or something like that, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't
believe them. Every radar I've looked at, it shows it south of us. We're under a severe thunderstorm until 9 o'clock. So and the sun shining.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside right now. It's probably the best it's been all day long, and it's 73 degrees out.
Yep.
I don't see bad weather coming our way.
No. If anything, we'll just get clouds. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about clouds. Actually, I was just laughing a little bit earlier. Leah, my girlfriend, came up to me. She said, "Hey, my name just came up on a hurricane list." And I was like, "What?" And she says, "Yeah, my name came up on a hurricane list." And I was like, "Oh God, I got to play with that one." So I typed it into my AI songwriter, and I put it in as she comes in like a hurricane and leaves like a tornado, and takes everything with her, including all my possessions and my house. And it came up with this thing. It says, "Well, when the storm passed through," and I was like, "Okay, we'll accept that." I got it. I've listened to a couple variations of it. I didn't like them that much, and I was like, "Okay, well, you can do better." And I keep putting the same thing in, and it just comes up different every time. And I'm just like, "Yeah, just keep coming up with something different. I don't like the ones you did, so I'm going to keep going with it." I've been watching Marcel Grady down there at it's all Grady,
Yeah.
and he's been talking about, well, these data centers, and I'm like, I don't think you understand how that works. A data center needs really good electricity. So what they do as part of building a data center is create a better pipeline for the electricity going into that data center. And when they do that, they make your bill go down, because now you've got more electricity available to you than you've ever had before. But I've been watching him, and I'm like, dude, man, you're hitting the wrong ballpark on this one. I'm sorry. I've been watching all the news on it and stuff, and I pay close attention to it because they're trying to put one right here in our neighborhood.
Yep.
And it's just like, yeah, no. I mean, if they put one right behind my house in the farmer's field out back, I'd be like, go for it. Please do. Because my electric bill will go down based on the amount of electricity they will use and improving all the lines in my area to make it better. You know?
Well, there's a petition going around to try to get NYSEG and National Grid kicked out of New York.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I saw it today.
Wow.
Because the gas prices and electric prices are going up again.
Dude, my electric prices through NYSEG have been running about $1,000 a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's only two of us here.
Yeah.
I don't have employees running in and out, using the bathroom and all that stuff. I haven't been running my wood shop at all because the electric prices have been so steep. I can't afford to.
Yep.
I mean, I'm actually leaning towards, I got some pretty big projects coming up. I'm actually leaning towards running my generator to run my wood shop, because I got enough propane fuel to run my shop on the generator for, I don't know, 5 days or something like that. I think I computed, and it's 20 gallons every 8 hours, and I've got, I think, 80 gallons right now in hand. So every 20 gallons is another 24-hour day.
Right.
I'm not going to be running the wood shop 24 hours a day. But I'm just like, okay, well, I can't afford the gas or the electric prices we're paying now. I'm not going to say gas prices, because gas prices are starting to come down a little bit.
Yep.
Not as much as the oil prices have been, but they are coming down a little bit. You just have to shop you have to shop the right gas stations to get it.
That has a lot to do with the state taxes too.
Oh, it does. It does. And taxes in New York State are terrible.
Yep.
Down in Florida, they're talking about getting rid of property taxes.
For I think it was, there was a catch to it though. I can't remember exactly what it was. For the, I think it was the senior citizens. I don't think it was for everybody.
Yeah, well, we're kind of almost in that area now too.
Yeah, well, I got a few years to go.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I make it.
I'm going to be retired in October. I've already made my mind up.
I'm retired now.
Everybody told me, no, wait till you're 65, you get the bigger benefit, or wait till you're 70, you get the bigger benefit. And every channel that I watched that has anything to do with that stuff said, if you're young and you're 62, which I will be in October, take it now because there's no guarantee you will be alive at 65 or 70
right.
years old.
And that's what the government depends on.
Yeah.
It's you don't make it to the retirement age.
Yeah, they want us to pay. They want us to collect when we're younger than retirement age, so they don't have to pay out as much, so the funds last longer.
Yep, and it's 67 to get the full benefits.
Yeah, well, they're saying now 70 or 72.
Well, yeah, they were talking 70
to
for
get
a
the
while.
max. Yeah, they're talking 70 or 72 to get the max. I'm not going to work till I'm 72. I'm sorry. I'm going to be 62 in October.
I'm done. I can't. I can't work no more. I can't stand on my feet for long periods of time, and even sitting straight up in the chair kills my back. That's why I'm hunched over right now.
Well, when I shattered my heel back in 2021, that pretty much took me out of the job market.
Yep.
My job disappeared during that time, and I could have gone back. I had an IME appointment here just a couple of weeks ago, and that doctor asked me, he says, well, could you go back and work for the company you worked for before? And I was like, no, I can't. They did offer me a job to go back, but since then, they've sold. It's no longer Natrium Products.
Nope.
And he's like, what? And I says, no, they sold out. I says, so could I go back now? Absolutely not. And I wouldn't, because the new owners for that place, for one, they are really, really particular about what's going on with the place. Very particular. When Natrium was in business, we had a storeroom where we kept all the spare parts. If anything broke, we had something to fix it with. The new owners said, yeah, no, we don't want that anymore. Get rid of all the spare parts. And they did. They just threw them all in the dumpster. And I was like, oh my God, that was like $1 million worth of parts that just got thrown away. And my old boss told me, he says, these guys don't want those parts on hand. They can afford to fix it when it breaks, and they can afford to stay down when it doesn't work. And I was like, we couldn't.
No.
Oh my God. For 31 years, we could not stay down. If we broke something, we had to fix it that night and get the plant back running that night, And these guys are like, yeah, if we're down for a week, we don't care. It's all about money.
You know what's funny about it is it's probably an overseas company that owns them.
I don't know the name of the company. I've heard it, but I don't know them. I don't know nothing about them other than it's run by a lot of high finance guys that just don't care. I mean, their job is not to create money selling baking soda. Their money is to create expenses.
Right.
And I'm like, they got too much money and not enough smarts. My boss had a lot of smarts and not enough money, And it's just like, wow, how did that whole page get turned? I don't understand it. And I'll be honest with you. I would never run my business that way or ever want somebody to take it over and do it that way.
Right. Some people, I don't know. It's like the guys that took over at CFD. They're, the one guy, he was pretty good. But the guy who took over my boss's job, he was an idiot. He was sending me 30 miles out of my way to pick a backhaul up.
Really?
And I'm like, no, I'm an hour past that place. I'm not going back there just to get a stupid backhaul. So I'd leave it. I would come home. And I told him, you can't send somebody 30 miles or whatever on Interstate 80 during rush hour to pick a backhaul up.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Well, actually, that was part of the reason why it was a well drilling company. Let me think about it for a minute. They opened up a trucking company, Barber and DeLine. They opened up a trucking company, and their best customer was Natrium because we were hiring them to transport products from our plant over to our warehouse. Hatfield did it, and Barber and DeLine did it. And nobody really, the truck drivers made the money. We didn't make the money.
Right.
It really wasn't the truck drivers either because, you got to make your mileage. You got to make your dollar on the mileage you drive. Well, when you're only driving across the road, you're not making any mileage. No. You're burning a crap load of fuel if you leave your truck running, but you're not making any mileage. And so those guys weren't really making any money either, Well,
but just the guy I spoke to the last time before I left CFD, he said they paid him by the hour, but double time.
They should.
Yeah. So he was making double time every hour he sat there. That's why they didn't want to interfere with them, any other trucks interfere with him moving stuff around.
Yeah. But
still, you got to take care of your customers still.
Yeah, you got to take care of the customers. And the new thing now is that if somebody's doing like transport from one building to the next or whatever, they're not allowed to jump in front of somebody else.
Right.
Now they have to sit and wait. Last time I went to Natrium, I was in there talking to my boss, Bob Kemp. He's the head engineer of the whole plant. And I was there for over an hour. And that whole hour I was there, everybody was running around the load dock trying to figure out how to get the paperwork to be able to load this truck. Using this new computer system, nobody understood. They were bringing people down from upstairs offices down to say, hey, this is what we got to do. And even they couldn't figure it out. And I was like, this poor truck driver's been here over an hour. My goal was, if a truck backed in, get him out within 20 minutes. This poor guy's been here over an hour, and there's not a pallet on his truck because nobody can figure out what they got to do to load the truck.
If that was me, I would have left.
I would have. If I was an employee there, I would have gone out, gotten my truck and left. There's no way. There's no way. But I was like, Bob, what the hell's going on? And he's like, oh, they brought in this new computer system and nobody really knows how to use it. Well, why didn't they bring in somebody to train them? Well, it's not their goal. Their goal is to spend money. I'm sorry, but if your only goal is to spend money and not make money, or keep your people happy that are doing your transport for you, I don't know. I'm sorry, I try to keep my mailman happy, for crying out loud. Because he's my transport guy. But a truck, oh my God. I don't know. It makes no sense.
You guys been busy?
As of lately, no. June is like our normal slow month where we can go on vacation and not care for a couple weeks. So yeah, this is like back to typical June. We didn't have this for 3 years, actually 4 years during COVID. We didn't have a slow month, but now it's back to normal, and we do have a slow month.
Yeah.
But the problem is, every weekend it rains. We don't go anywhere on the weekends because I don't want to set the camper up in the rain and have to bring it home, open it up, and wait for it to dry back out again.
Right.
Even though I do have my truck back, it's not running right by any means. It's got an engine light on again. But
Oh,
I'm
it's
like,
back
hey,
on?
oh yeah, something to do with the NO2 sensor. I got a hold of my mechanic and I was like, yeah, the O2 sensor's kicking out of code again. And he's like, well, bring it back. And I was like, yeah, at the end of summer, I will. I can pull my camper behind the truck with an O2 sensor light on. I don't
Yeah.
care. I've been 2 years without being able to do that. So I don't care. I am going to
Right.
make sure that I can go camping this year. One time, I don't care.
Right.
I just need a good weekend. Memorial Day weekend sucked. This weekend sucks. So maybe next weekend, I don't know. But I told him I'm not bringing the truck back until the camping season's over with. That O2 sensor to me means absolutely nothing.
Right.
I don't have the lifter problems anymore. I don't have the bottom cam or bottom crankshaft bearings going bad anymore. It's got a brand new motor in it. I'm going to just drive it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
So you need to get it inspected.
Oh, well, it is. Yeah, well, that's what it's going to be. It's going to go back to him at the end of summer because it'll have to be inspected again in the spring. And until then, I don't care. Let him do what they got to do.
Which I think is stupid. But
what I think is stupid is like my car bought brand new off the dealership lot, 2023. March 1st, I think it was 2023. That car had to be inspected before it could leave the lot. Well, if it doesn't pass inspection when it's manufactured, there's a problem with the manufacturer. You know what I'm saying? But it had to be inspected. Same thing with my trailer. I got a RC, I think it's 2021 RC trailer, closed body. It had to be inspected before I could tow it down the road.
Does it weighs over 1,000 pounds?
No, it can only haul up to 900.
Oh.
It's a single axle. And I was like, why does this need to be inspected before I take it off the lot? Well, it's because New York State requires it. Isn't the manufacturer supposed to make sure it passes inspection before they sell it? I mean, we paid $4,000 for that trailer. Yeah, no, they're not required to do that, but it does have to pass New York State inspection before it can be drove on the roads. I'm like, why does every vehicle have to be inspected to drive down the road when it's brand frickin' new? Because they want to rape us. They want money. I feel like Brand Plattner. I'm going to rape everybody that breaks into my home. Not sexually. It's not going to be gay or anything, but no, I just don't agree with it. If it's brand new, it shouldn't need to be inspected.
I think the emissions testing is dumb.
I actually was looking at a 2012 one-ton Chevy Silverado diesel that had like 233,000 miles on it. And it came from Arkansas. The body was beautiful. The underframe was beautiful. And I made an agreement with a guy. I'll come over and I'll look at it. So I drive over there. I go to the parking lot where it's at. I said to him, I says, well, are you where Diesel Dude was on Warrior Street? And he's like, yeah, no. Well, it turns out that Diesel Dude was on that corner. And he isn't there anymore, of course. but a tree company is, and it was their truck they were selling. I get over there, the damn truck's covered in a tarp. And I was like, okay, it's sprinkled a little bit. Is this thing like leaking through the windshield or something? Because that would be an issue for me. You knew I was coming over to look at the truck. And now you got it covered up in the tarp. A normal person like you or I would go over and uncover it.
Yeah.
So anybody come and look at it would be like, okay, yeah, I can see what I'm looking at. And he left it covered in the tarp. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not interested. And he's like, well, I thought you were coming over to look at the truck. I said, well, I drove by your parking lot. You are in Diesel Dude's parking lot. So you lied to me on that part, or at least you didn't know. But the truck is covered with a tarp. Does that tell me that there's a problem with it? Yes, because it's sprinkled in the morning. It wasn't sprinkling in the afternoon when I went there, but it was still covered with a tarp. Well, I'm trying to keep the sun off of it. It's an Arkansas truck, dude.
Yeah.
Making it home. How you doing?
Hey, Lauren. And Joel.
I was like, it's an Arkansas truck and you're trying to keep the sun off of it in New York? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially
I'm
if it
sorry.
came from there.
That tells me window seals are leaking and it's going to drip inside or something like that, because it did sprinkle in the morning. But it wasn't sprinkling when I went there. And he's like, I thought you were going to come look at it. Now, I did come look at it, but you scared me right from the get-go. I'm not looking at a truck that's covered in a tarp.
Right.
Not for 20 grand.
Yeah.
You know, 233,000 miles with a diesel, that's not bad. And it was a 1-ton truck. It was a Chevy dually. But the fact that he had that tarp on there blew me away. I was just like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm walking out. I'm walking out. I'm not doing it. I don't know if you've ever bought like a diesel truck or something like that before, but if they're maintained,
You'll get
you know this from being a
miles.
truck driver. You know this from being a truck driver. If a diesel vehicle is maintained, they're good for 1 million miles.
I mean, a semi, yes, or
A semi,
more.
a semi,
As long
or
as
even a civilian,
has
vehicle, if it's maintained.
Yeah, they tell you to overhaul a semi at 600,000 miles.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it'll keep going. But if it's not maintained, I had a diesel pickup. I had a 1992 F-150 with dual tanks. And he's actually a friend of mine. He owned the video stores up here, and I used to drive that because I was their delivery driver. And when they closed down, I got the truck. And it's not cheap. The starter was $700. The alternator was $600. A battery was $400 for it. So I know, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got to worry about glow plugs and all that other part too.
Yep.
You know, I mean, yeah, they're not cheap. But like a civilian, like that Chevy 2500 or 3500 I was looking at, the dually, the required major maintenance on that is at 500,000 miles, I think it was. And that was to go through and check things like the alternator, the glow plug, all that stuff. I mean, I watch Dave's Auto all the time on YouTube, and those guys are diesel mechanics from hell.
Yeah.
I watch them guys.
My nephew is too.
And I watch them guys. Well, I got a cousin that's a diesel mechanic. So for me to buy another diesel, I mean, I've owned a couple of them already, but for me to buy another diesel, that's not a big issue. I've got a mechanic available if I need him. And the call was, yeah, you can buy it now. It's only 233,000 miles. You can add another 133,000 on it before you even have to worry about it. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm interested because I can put a fifth wheel on this thing or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I was really interested in that truck until I drove by and seen the tarp on the cover. And I was like, yeah, nope.
It either had a hole in the roof or had the windshield leaked.
Well, I don't know if it was an LT or an LTZ. It might have had a sunroof. I don't know because it wasn't shown in the pictures. It might be a leaking windshield,
Yep.
which would be terrible because that's where your electronics are. And the guy wasn't really straightforward with answering my questions. My truck is an LTZ. I've got all the bells and whistles, heated seats. I got the sunroof. I got navigation. I got everything. And this guy wasn't very straightforward with his answers. It's not a leather interior, which kind of blew me away because mine is. And I was just like, I don't know. You're asking for almost the same amount for this one as I paid for mine. I bought mine in like, I'm going to say probably 2022 for $24,000. And here we are, a few years later, and yours is 2 years older, and you want almost the same price. And then you cover it with a tarp. I'm sorry, I got to have answers. And he couldn't give them to me. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. Sorry.
Yeah. You could find them online. You just got to be patient and look for a lot cheaper than that right now. Because with diesel prices so high, people are wanting to get rid of them.
Yeah, we're talking almost $6 a gallon.
Yeah. And diesel will not drop.
No, it will, but it won't drop anything like the gas prices will.
The end of the year, you'll see it drop a lot.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
by the end of the year, I think you will.
I'm watching our local gas prices, and I'm watching the cost of oil per barrel. They're saying if it drops down to like $68 a barrel, that'll bring us down to $2 a gallon. I've watched it drop. I watched it drop from $105 a barrel down to I think it's like $94 a barrel. We didn't get a 10-cent saving.
You know what'll happen before it drops that low?
Yeah, the gas stations are closed. They can't make the money they need to pay the employees.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, every one of the gas stations around us are owned by foreigners.
Yeah.
And because up there in Cortland, they're the same way.
Yep, they are.
The only ones that aren't is Marabito and Speedway. Actually, Speedway is owned by foreigners.
I was going to say Speedway is, but Speedway is independent store owned.
Right. They're
aside from the corporate part's like foreigners, but the independent stores aren't. And I watched different prices in all of our Speedway. We got 3 of them real local to me. And it never fails. The one that's right on the side of 81, which is a local highway, is always cheaper than the other 2, which aren't anywhere near a highway. So that's where I go to get my gas all the time. I do drive through town a lot, so I see the other 2 prices. But I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to be heading home, and I got to go right by this one to get home because I go right by the 81 exit ramp. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go to this one, and I'll get gas there. That's the cheaper one, but it's only like 3 or 4 cents cheaper.
Hey, but with your truck's what, 30-gallon tank?
I don't know. The last time I filled it was $90.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I would put $40 in my car on it when it's on E, and it would only give me just below a half a tank. And mine's only a 17-gallon tank.
I put $30 in our car, and I can drive 425 miles.
I've been getting decent mileage.
I put maybe almost $100 into my truck, and it may give me 240 miles. I think my truck gets 17 on the highways, what they're saying, but it's only 12 in the city. And most of the time when I drive it, I don't drive it on the highway. I drive it from here to the local farm store to get my stray balls. and then I drive it back home. It's not that far. I go like a mile down the road and a mile back home. I don't go that far with my truck.
You want to put some highway miles on it?
Well, no, because I don't dare. I'm afraid I'm afraid that engine light that I got on will be more than one engine light when I get back.
Oh.
Seriously, I don't
Yeah.
dare.
I would trade it in and get a Ford.
Yeah, actually, I was just told by Dave's Automotive today that if you trade it in and you get a Ford, you want a Ford with a Cummins motor.
If you go with the diesel.
If you go with a diesel, you want the Cummins motor. But if you go with like a straight F-150, which I wouldn't want, I want to upgrade. If I do it, I'm gonna go 1500 to like a 250 Ford. And he said, well, if you do that, then you don't want a 2025 or a 2026. You want to drop back to about a 2018 or 2019.
But be careful with, and I'll tell you, the 250s to 350s, I haven't heard of problems with them. The F-150, I have. The 18 to, or the 13 to the 20, or no, 16. Is that when they changed the body style?
21.
Was it 21 they changed it to the all aluminum? No, because the 18 is aluminum.
No, they changed it to all aluminum like 2017.
No, because my neighbor has a 2018 and his is aluminum.
I have friends that are contractors and they have the aluminum box.
Yeah, they
one of
ding real easy.
Well, one of them told me, he says, yeah, I used to throw this thing in the back of my Chevy truck all the time. He threw a big heavy box in the back and it went right through the bottom of the truck.
Well, yeah, because
and he was like, oh my God, this is junk. And I was like, yeah, but look at the bright side. It doesn't hold water anymore.
Yeah. Well, the only problem with that it was happening with the steel bodies is the design for the water to run down was a poor design. Other than that, they were great.
Well, it's like a Chevy Silverado like mine. It rotted out the rocker panels. Terrible. You know, the rocker panels and the cab corners were terrible. And I took your advice. I just went and said, hey, you know what? I found a company that was called Original Appearance Manufacturing. They were expensive. They were a little over $600 for both sides. But they said, do this, do this, do this. And of course, I listened to them on one side, but the other side, I got in a hurry and I didn't really listen to them a whole lot. So I know it's not going to be a good side. But I was just like, yeah, but what you didn't tell me is I need to take off my running board brackets, put these panels on.
Yeah, you have to.
So what I'm going to have to do is go in and drill out the rivets I got on there, take the brackets off, pull it down, and then go over my Dremel and grind out where the brackets are so that it lays up to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then go through and rivet it again. I used 2 rivets out of probably 24 they gave me because they said put a rivet every 6 inches. I couldn't. There was nothing to drill into every 6 inches because the panels were being held back by the brackets to hold the running boards on. Yeah, I just don't know if I dare take them brackets off because they have been on there since the truck was brand new.
Oh.
If I take them off now, am I going to end up with broken bolts or something like that where I can't put them back on? Because that would really bother me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those cab corners, you don't hear much about them because of the auto body repair stores. They don't want you knowing about them. Especially and they make them for Dodge, Chevy, and Ford. And
I actually have 2 brand new Chevy cab corners sitting in my dining room right now that are welded in place. What I don't have are the tools that I had when we lived before we bought this house in McLean, where we had the trailer and we had the shop down back. I had what was called a dimpler tool. It was air compressed, and you could go in, you could just cut out where the new panel was going to set in, and you could dimple it. So the new panel would be flush to the old panel, and then you just weld it in place, and then use a little body filler and fill it in, and then paint it, and life goes on. I don't have that tool anymore. I don't have that shop anymore. And I'm just like, ah. The landlord told me somebody stole the tool. I don't believe him. I think he sold the tool. But I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
the plastic doesn't look bad. The plastic actually looks pretty damn good. And as far as I'm concerned, if I trade that truck in tomorrow or whatever, it'll be fine. Other than where it goes like this, where all the brackets are for the running boards. That's the part that will blow me away. But I don't dare take them brackets out. And there's really no other way that I can go in and cut out where the brackets are on those panels and get it back up underneath there again either, because it's held on by the tape on tight and top, and then it's got the rivet on the bottom and the front. And what they told me was take the front where your fenders come down, take the bottom bolt off your fender so you can pull the bottom of the fender out and put this panel behind it. Yeah, that ain't happening. I took the bolt out. I took the bolt out on the driver's side. You can't pull that panel out to get this behind it. I went to pull the one out on the passenger side to try to do it again. That bolt ain't coming out. That bolt is totally stripped. It's round. And it was round before I even put the impact on. I got the impact up there and I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to work. And I hit the trigger and it's like, yeah, that ain't going to work. There's no way that bolt's coming out. If I got onto it with vice grips, heated it up, and maybe beat it with a mouth, I probably could get that bolt out. But then I got to go buy another bolt to put back in. But again, I can't pull the fender out even if I take the bolt out. So it makes no sense to try it.
And then you got to hope that it don't snap off.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that happen with my other Chevy that I rebuilt. Cab corners. I have a special 3-jaw truck that was made for broken studs for cab corners. That tool cost me like $89.
Wow.
You got to use an impact wrench and a regular wrench and then drive it up onto the bolt and then use the impact wrench to loosen it up. It was like an $89 tool. I got it in my toolbox still, but it was like, holy crap, that was not an expected expense. And then I had to replace all of the pockets for the cab corners. My job gave me the advantage of they had a bunch of pieces of steel that they special ordered from Mike's Welding that were like square. Let me go to the camera. They were like square this way, and then they had an angle cut in, and then they were flat again on top. And they let me have all of those because they had to throw them away because they wouldn't fit what they bought them for. And I was like, really? You're going to just throw them away? And they're like, yeah. Well, they also had a bolt hole in the center of them. So I just went in with the cab corners mounted onto these plates that were rotted out and welded that on top of it and then put the bolt up through that hole and put the cab mounts on top of that plate. It was almost a 1/4 inch thick. It worked fine. It held that cab up perfect. Would I do it again? Yeah, not. Not. Because I can't cut those plates like they cut them.
Right.
I got a plasma cutter. It's not going to cut that thick of metal.
No.
All right, well, you're tired. I'm tired. What say we call this one?
Yeah, this medicine knocks me out shortly after I take it.
All right, what say we call this one?
I'll give you a holler sometime. During the week, I stay home and babysit the granddaughter, so.
I'll give you a call.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye, Lauren.
Everybody have a good night.